I still think we need to go to the end of the lines better. I still think that's important. Okay, can we go from...
Bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. The aims of the department fundamentally are to produce the best singer that we can by the time that they've finished their degree. We want them employable in the profession, that is with an excellent technique, very good interpretive skills, musical skills, and a really good grasp of language.
I'd like to have an international career. At some point I would love to come back here and sing, but I would love to see the world and sing in, you know, these houses that we dream about, like the Met and Vienna.
Quite a few of them, in fact, have international careers. We have people at Vienna State Opera and people that are touring with quite significant opera companies, and many of them have very successful careers. The courses at the Conservatorium are very competitive. We often audition for 4 days and take maybe 5 or 6 people for the undergraduate, and certainly for the opera school we have people from all over Australia and internationally that audition, and we take the very best that we have on offer.
It seems like they've really got a program that allows singers to grow into a career. It's very much performance-based, it's very much experience-based.
It prepares you for professional life, which is in a company can be difficult and can be demanding, and so that's the way they run the course, so that you don't go out into the professional world and have no idea how things run, how things work. I mean, down to things like they teach us how to write CVs, how to present in an audition, how to talk to a panel, how to prepare for a competition. And you need people who have been there, who have done that, to show you how to accrue those skills.
If we had a choice of even not just Australia but the world, we find that this course is very competitive with courses overseas.
And a lot of teachers that are here have been singers or are still working as singers too. So they understand emotionally, physically, all the levels that we need.
Well, these days you not only have to be able to sing and move and act, but you have to look good. It's so competitive that you can't afford to be overweight anymore, you can't afford not to be fit, you have to look extremely good, move beautifully, and we have dance lessons in our opera course, and we also have Stagecraft to really develop these skills, and you have to be able to act. We have drama acting classes, so that is trained from the earliest stages of when they come into the Conservatorium.
Who has trouble with learning lines? Who has trouble with either learning a libretto? Probably it's not as difficult as learning lines of dialogue.
I have more trouble with that than learning music.
It's definitely easier with music.
It's definitely easier with music,
goes
yeah.
into your brain
it's,
a lot quicker and the
musical
sounds.
markers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, the markers.
Now, if you want to make this sound like it means something to you and therefore means something to an audience, the best way to do it is really to put it in your own words. If you try this whenever you're stuck on a line, a verse, an entire aria, it actually makes you own what you're saying more. So we'll just go through it. And I'll show you what
You have to look the part, you have to sound the part, and you have to be able to convince an audience that this is real. I mean, when you walk into a theatre, there's obviously the suspension of disbelief, but you have to help that along. You have to, that's why people go to the theatre, to feel things that they don't feel in everyday life.
Sideways, and upstage, and sideways, and downstage.
Well, not all of us are trained dancers, and so we sort of battle our way through some of the more complicated moves that we're asked to try out.
And also from the last opera, I mean, I was on stage running around the whole time. You have to still breathe deep. You still have to keep the breath under control. If you're out of breath and unfit, then it's...
Yeah, the orchestra doesn't wait for you.
I believe if you want to be an opera singer, you have to have an enormous drive. If you just have a moderate ambition to become a singer, you probably shouldn't do it. Cimarosa's opera, The Secret Marriage, is a gem of an 18th century opera. It seemed like a very good choice for the opera school to put on because with double casting, we involved 12 of the 22 singers in the opera department.
Non volete più mia figlia, quella per cui stesso il contratto, che non si parli d'accomodamenti.
Just, can I give you the normal note that I give you? But just make sure that it's a clean look.
Yeah.
Whatever you do first, if you look around afterwards, make sure that's not confusing as to which one's which.
Yeah, right.
So the first look is to him.
Yeah.
And you want him to play.
B?
No, Tezel.
It is, yeah. Questa in vero è curiosa. Sembran d'accordo in mastica parole.
There are tone colours and there are things that you can do with a voice that you simply cannot do with an instrument. For me, because it's a part of you, your instrument is inside you, it's intrinsically linked into who you are. And so if you're not feeling great, if you're unhappy, if you're whatever, that comes out in your voice.
You yourself are your instrument. Your voice is your instrument. Your body is your instrument. And so we put a bit of ourselves out there on stage when we're performing.
Ferma, ferma, ti prego! Io mi sento morire. Calmati un poco.
I think that the Sydney Conservatorium is unique, particularly in Australia, in that we put on a number of fully staged opera performances each year with orchestra, with a paying public, and it really gives the students a chance to hone their skills. All the things that they learn in the various classes that are involved in the course come into a practical outcome. They really get a feeling for what it's like to be in a professional opera situation and to perform.
I love the multi-dimensions you get in opera and in singing. It's not just learning notes, making sure your fingers are doing the right things, but it's bringing text alive. It's bringing meaning, language. It's bringing story, poetry, so many different things that can be added to the sheer music that the composer writes.
When you talk to another human being, the emotion comes across without you even trying. And so when you put music to that, I think there is something to be said about it being more of an emotional connection.
The Conservatorium is a fantastic institution. It's in a wonderful situation, it's a fantastic building, it has wonderful staff, and there's a vitality about it, which is fantastic to be a part of.
Music makes me happy. Being out on stage is wonderful, hearing people clap is fantastic, but it's the fact that you make beautiful sounds that make people feel something inside themselves that really nothing else can do.
I feel like music has the ability to go places that other things can't, to be able to almost penetrate the heart or the emotion. It has a healing quality. It has there's music right now.